warning. Some listeners may find the following content life-changing.
The thing is that Jesus isn't religion. Jesus is life.
Broadcasting.
This is the devil's world. We don't live in God's world. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Uncomfortable Hour with Glenn Casey and Eddie Brisco.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Uncomfortable Hour with Glenn Casey and
Eddie Brisco coming at you live as it can be in the podcast.
Sort of live. No, actually, it's not live at all. It's not live.
It's the opposite of live. It's recorded. It's going to be in the
pre-recorded.
past. If you're listening to this, it's happened in the past.
Yes, however, if you're listening to this as it's happening in the present, well, then you're in the future.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is amazing. Congratulations to you.
Absolutely. So, very first episode of The Uncomfortable Hour. Tell you a little bit about why we're here, what's the mission, and what we're doing. Number one, it's called The Uncomfortable Hour because we're talking all things God, putting God on first, Christ the King. If y'all got a problem with it, guess what? It ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? That's clear. That's pretty clear. Yeah. It's definitely not my problem.
That's pretty straightforward. And for all of you who just hit the space bar, goodbye, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Please do stay tuned.
Yeah, so The Uncomfortable Hour, let's talk a little bit about what it is. It is a podcast dedicated to putting God on first and exploring Christian talent within the community. And that's really what this show's about, and that's really what we're here to do. And so if we offend somebody, if we do something that somebody doesn't like, let's just put it this way. We're not your average Christians. So guess what? We're that new age blood. If we offended you, find me. Fort Worth, Texas, 532.
What just happened?
I don't even know, but I'm not going to say
what
the
just
rest.
happened.
Woo!
We like the Christian bee rabbit right now.
Yeah. Come get it.
You know, all over the mom's spaghetti right now.
Sponsored by
God, G-O-D, and the place to be.
and his son Jesus.
Jesus Cristo. Jesus el Savior Cristo.
And anybody else, by the way, who wants to sponsor probably should, or you might end up in hell. Just kidding.
You are definitely available at any time. You can go ahead and start sponsoring us now if you'd like. Please give me a call. You know who you are.
Sponsored by Tostito Chips.
Tostito chips. Actually, these are the ghetto knockoff Kroger Tostito chips, but they are still very tasty. They're full of salt, and it makes me happy.
And let's be real. If there ever was a good knockoff, Kroger's not a bad brand.
It is definitely not a bad brand.
No. I mean, hey, you guys, we're not funded yet, so let's get real. Come on. We're on Kroger.
We're on that Kroger, man. We're on the knockoffs.
Man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, do we have a show for you today? Man. So, Brisco, who we got coming on? We got Jay
Sanon. Jay Sanon.
My man, Jay Sanon. Wow.
Isn't it Sanon?
Sanon.
It's Jay Sanon. We're going to have to edit this.
We're definitely going to have to edit it.
We're going to have to fix that part.
Maybe I won't, though, because you know what, Jay? I'm human, and that's part of what this is.
You know, that's awesome, but at the same time, my name's not Jay. It's Eddie. You just called me Jay.
Well, I was talking about the artist. I was talking to him.
Like, guess what? When you listen to this later on, hey, man, it's not our fault we mispronounced your name.
Right. It's not our fault, even though it really
It's
is.
100% our fault.
100%.
It's really all the extra salt in these Kroger chips.
It really is. Oh, you know what? Like Super Saiyan.
Exactly.
Jay Super Saiyan Saiyan.
Well, with an Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly right. Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan. Not Super Saiyan.
No, absolutely. He's not sinning. He's Sanon. And he is definitely dropping nasty, hot tracks. This guy is really talented. He's out of Miami-Dade County out there in Florida, Mr. 305's area. But he has got some seriously good music on the YouTubes, right there on the YouTubes, because that's what I say it when you're very old. You call it the YouTube. Yeah, it is a really, really good a couple of songs out there that he's got right now. His latest song would be Infatuation. He did drop a song called 557 a few months ago in the beginning of the year. Outstanding track. I mean, just super hot. I mean, his lyrics are on point. I really, really enjoy his music.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a up-and-coming Christian artist in the hip-hop community, or as we call it, CHH. And you should check him out. He's on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Bandcamp, you name it. Jay Sanon, you can check him out. And I encourage you to do so because, as Brisco said, he's dropping fire. So from Dade County, man, geez, landed the rough a little bit, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And they had a hurricane hit there not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, let's talk about Dade County for a minute because that's come up a little bit in a lot of different areas. We got Kimbo Slice came out of Dade.
He sure did. That's right. Give me my bread.
Dada 5000, who fought Kimbo Slice in, I believe, Bellator, came out of. So they actually have like a really good underground. And when I say good, I mean that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're doing things as best as they can with what they have, but a lot of really good talent in the underground MMA world.
Right, absolutely. I mean, the important thing is they are doing things. They're on the map.
Definitely. Well, you know, Miami in general, there's a lot of people from Miami. But anyways, Jay definitely hails out of North Miami. So a little bit of that in a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more to Jay. We got him on the phone coming up. But before we get into that, Brisco, let's talk about the uncomfortable hour.
Let's talk about it. I'm absolutely uncomfortable right now. I'm drinking a Mr. Pibb because, we do everything low budget. So.
Mr. Pibby.
Absolutely. It used to be Dr. Thunder, and now it's Mr. Pibb. We're moving up in the world a little bit.
Not quite on that Dr. Pepper level.
No, not absolutely. But, it's a good substitute. It's a good substitute. It's like Diet Dr. Pepper, but just not as good.
Absolutely. And if you go in the store a little bit, drunk, then you get confused and you end up buying the wrong one anyways.
Exactly, because the cans were basically the same color. And I feel like Dr. Pepper should do something about that so we can have some recognition for what's really the real and what's kind of like the knockoff. That's how I feel about it.
I have to agree with Brisco. I mean, this is America. I don't know why they haven't sued yet. I would. But.
I don't know either, but to get back on track, as far as the uncomfortable hour, this is a brainchild of Glenn and mine. We have actually we were thinking about doing a different type of podcast altogether. We were trying to do something a little bit more world friendly, something a little bit more inappropriate. We were calling it the Inappropriate Hour, and it's just going to be one of those things where just a bunch of guys just messing around, doing some stupid stuff and talking, MMA guy stuff, random things here and there, but we both kind of felt convicted, almost I would say almost within the same day. We were just kind of hit by the thought and wasn't able to really be proud of that idea and tell people this is what I was going to be doing. And this persona or this character that I was going to be portraying wasn't really something that I would want to share with the people that I love and people I know. And so I hit him up. Right at the same time, he told me that he didn't want to roll down that road and take that path. And I said, man, this is exactly how I feel, man. I was getting ready to drop out. And so now here we are. We're doing something that's a little bit more our speed, something that we feel is going to be absolutely, I think, fantastic in the long run. We're just going to try to put God first, put God on. And by doing that, since neither him or I are preachers, we're not really super knowledgeable in the Word. We're rather ignorant in a lot of ways, but we do believe in the Lord. We do love the Lord, and we're just trying to do the best we can. And since we don't have that voice, we're trying to do a platform where the people who actually have that voice and have that talent can really just get out there and see if we can be somewhat of a springboard eventually to help their careers out and just get their word out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Briscoe's right. In fact, we were sharing a burrito at Chipotle. No, I'm just kidding. We weren't sharing a burrito, but we could have been.
It was Chipotle, and it was a burrito bowl.
If you want to save some money, though, they're big. You could share them.
Glenn's unemployed.
It's true. True story. But yeah, no, he's absolutely right. We synced up. We had an idea that we'd do a podcast one day. We really didn't know what it was going to be about. And then we figured, hey, all things inappropriate. And before you know it, we both felt convicted to say, no, let's not go that road. And so then we changed it. And so now here we are with the Uncomfortable Hour, talking about God, talking about Jesus, keeping Christ first, and reaching out to all the awesome talents within the industry. So that's the point of the show. If you don't like it, y'all know where to go.
Took a little left turn to Trailer Park Gangster. Well, see, the thing is that the Uncomfortable Hours where we really just kind of want to talk about what it's like to be kind of beginning in God and starting your walk, or restarting your walk, or whatever terminology you want to use, what have you. In today's world, where it's just basically, it's not God's world, it's the devil's world. So how you deal, how you cope with that struggle, the uncomfortable conversations you have with the people that don't believe in God, think it's corny, like, whoa, you there, Bible thumper. And, at the same time, when you go to a church or a new church and you're trying to find a church and you go there and it's a little bit uncomfortable because you don't know anybody, you don't know where to stand, you don't know where to sit, you just kind of want to hear the word, and you're there because you want to hear the word, but it's still one of those things where you just kind of feel out of place. The one person that shows up to the party that, doesn't have any friends there yet. So it's just, we're trying to just basically have an avenue for us to really just kind of express that, just kind of share our walk and what it's like to take that walk as grown men and people in this world where it's 100% against us.
Share the walk, share the talk, and don't get outlined in chalk. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it real. Man, why am I so gangster? I don't even know what I'm saying. Because why would you be outlined in chalk, number one?
You know what? I'm reaching over. I'm taking away
honestly,
your Mr. Pibb.
This is ridiculous. You know what?
Mr. Pibb is being confiscated. You're a little too sugared up right now.
Truth be known, everything comes full circle at some point in your life, So that's the name of the show. That's the reason why it's called Uncomfortable Hour. I think some people maybe get that confused. We are about keeping God first, putting God on. But I know for my own walk, my own faith, definitely in the past, I've been uncomfortable sharing my religion. And that's unfortunate. In fact, as I sit here today, it sounds so silly and ridiculous to say that. But, that's just the way it is sometimes. Some people like to make you feel a certain way about your religion. And so this isn't putting down any other type of religious beliefs. This isn't saying that our religion is the best religion, though it is. Yeah, that's right. Holla.
Good luck, everybody else.
Jesus H. Christ.
What does the H stand for?
I think it stands for hour.
Does it really?
Uncomfortable hour?
I understand.
Right.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yep. So
sounds legitimate.
Yeah, Old Testament versus New Testament terminology. Things can get switched up.
Types and shadows, things of that nature.
Come on. Oh, that would also be a cell phone vibrating on the desk.
Hey, whose cell phone was that, Glenn?
I think it's... Oh, you know what? Somebody must have left their cell phone in the studio.
Wow. And by the studio, he means a 10x10 box located in his garage, which is located in a very flat side of Texas. Where do we live? Where is this?
North Fort Worth.
North Fort Worth, ladies and gentlemen. Funky town, where we're actually kind of put this thing together. We wanted just to have like a little stage where we can put this information out there, get everything going, and... it's extremely hot in here, but that's a sacrifice that we need to make so we can share our thoughts and do things that are positive.
But, if we're being honest, if you came into the studio, you would never know that it was in a box inside a garage that's under a roof, that's inside of a house. You would never know it.
If we took you in a vehicle, blindfolded you, drove you here, walked you here by hand, put you in the studio, then closed the door, and then turned on the lights, and then let you take your blindfold off, you would definitely know that this was put together by some less than sober individuals.
Yeah, you might. Now that I'm hearing it, coming from Brisco, you might. But let's be real though. It's still great and amazing, and it sounds awesome.
It is actually pretty fantastic. I really do dig it. The lights in here do change color, and I'm usually in control
LEDs.
of that for whatever reason. He's got the controller today, but he's got the right color on right now for on the air, which is red.
But sometimes if I'm in a good mood, I change it to blue because that lifts my spirits up.
My cornea is just burned.
All right, let me change it.
They're burning now.
Change it back. I don't know why he likes red. Isn't that the color of the devil? Jeez.
Not really.
Okay, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know why.
It's pretty much the color of the blood of Christ, smart guy.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
You know what? It's also the color
See how I
of...
did that? See what I did there?
Lake of Fire.
Exactly. Or, that what is that? That one river that Moses guy put his little walking stick into turned red as blood. See what I'm saying? It's all about the Bible right now, bro, and that's where I want this to go.
So apparently the LED red is for the blood of Christ. I'm going to let it roll because I don't have a legitimate comeback or a zinger right now for that. So he wins round one.
I win.
Ding, 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 ding. So check it out, though. Uncomfortable Hour. What are we going to talk about? First episode. What is it?
Well, it's the first episode. I think that people should really kind of get to know us and where we come from, what our whole deal is, you know. And I think you should go first.
Not that I wasn't prepared for that. Well, but here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Bibb.
Let me restart that. Ladies and gentlemen. At the tender age of just 4, I knew that I was destined for greatness. I felt it inside my heart. You know when your heart beats and it's just so rapid that you feel like, man, the intensity's here. That's what I felt my whole life, because that's the kind of energy you're dealing with. You should know that. Anyway.
What are you doing?
Intense energy on the mic, bro.
50 Shades of God, right? What is happening right now?
Intense energy on the mic, bro. Okay, all right. Yeah, I have no problem. Let me share my story a little bit. You guys get to know who Glenn Case is. You can call me K, K-A-Y. You can call me Case. You can call me Glenn.
Dizzle for shizzle.
You can call me whatever floats your boat. But let me explain.
But don't call him after 10 because that's his bedtime.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. You know, I gotta get some sleep in, even though I don't have a job. Yeah. So, father was in the Navy. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. Got 2 sisters. We lived all around the world. Lived in Europe for a little bit. Lived all over the U.S. So I've kind of been, you know, East Coast, West Coast. Definitely growing up, I was influenced by hip hop. Hip hop was a big influence in my life. You can ask Brisco. He calls me like the whitest gangster ever, I guess.
It is true. It is true.
I do listen to a lot of hip hop. In particular, I'm huge on the independent scene. So I equate it to like this. A lot of people like football. I don't like football. Don't worry. I know I don't have my man card. You don't need to judge me for that. I just don't like it. So I don't know why we're going to sit here and talk about it. In fact, we're not. But I don't like football.
I want to put this out there. I did not know that. And
he's judging. He's judging me.
Life decisions.
See,
right now.
there he goes, right across the table, judging me. But I'll say this: a lot of people like college football versus pro football, and they like it because of the passion. They like it because of the heart. You know, X, Y, and Z. People are starting out in their careers. That's the same reason why I like independent music. I feel like there's a lot of passion going into it, and I feel like there's a lot of underrated artists out there in the market that really have an awesome message to share. Because I view hip hop like making a film, right? You're telling a story. A story's unfolding if you really listen to a lot of these lyrics. But if you get into the mainstream game, and a lot of you probably will agree with this, you're not really telling a story that's worth value. You're telling a lot of garbage, you know, or you're making up some persona that you're really not, right? And so I love independent artists. In particular, hip hop was a big influence growing up. And so what better way than to put on independent Christian hip hop artists in season 1? So going back to me, because it's about me right now. At 18, I decided that I would steal my dad's car, and I crashed it into the garage. No, that's a lie. That didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. At 18, I decided I'd move out with my girlfriend. And I don't know why we have to go into this, but I'm just telling you my life. I moved out with her. It didn't work out. And so guess what? I went to film school. I moved to Los Angeles. Went to Los Angeles Film School. And there I studied a lot of recording, a lot of cinematography, some directing. And then 10 years passed by, and magically nothing happened in that career for me. I don't understand to this day why they couldn't see the talent.
Because you're not good.
I don't understand. You know, it's like
you're not good.
You guys have pure gold behind the camera right now, and by that I don't mean a strip club.
Like dancing, you're not good at it.
Well, yeah, Brisco. Yeah, that's his opinion, but let's be real, guys. You know what's up on the YouTube. Anyways, didn't work out. My film career never took off like I thought it would. Boo-hoo. So I had to get a regular job like millions and millions of other Americans. And it led me into the office world. And so I'm not going to bore you with all that. But anyways, recently, I decided to leave the office world and focus on building a podcast, which I never thought I'd do. And so an imagination one day for me and Brisco, let's do a podcast, morphed into this uncomfortable hour that's built up now. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And here we are getting ready to do this. So that's a little bit about me. You'll find out more as the story goes. But hey, check it out.
If we ever get to make a second episode, based on what just happened right now, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a 50-50 shot. But overall, I feel like he was, for the most part, honest. And that's something to say because he's usually full of lies.
Sometimes. True Lies. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's a great, great movie. I love it. Tom Arnold. That's what Brisco reminds me of. I'm Arnold, and he's Tom Arnold. Two Arnolds, but I'm the good one.
Wow.
Mind-blowing, actually.
Wow. I figured...
Did you realize that? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold. There was two Arnolds, though. I just kind of got that concept.
That's amazing. You just had a breakthrough. I was figuring me more of a Schwarzenegger in Twins, and you're more of a Danny DeVito.
Oh, wow.
From the same movie.
I always thought that I would be like a Patrick Swayze of sorts, but,
Roadhouse.
you know, got them cool dance moves, nice good looks, you know,
Nobody puts Becca in the corner.
nice set of hair.
Nice set of hair.
Yeah, it's all fluffy. Fluffy McGruff. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know why I feel like being mean right now, but I will say that his hair Indians are losing the battle of big forehead right now.
That's suddenly this just stopped being a Christian show, apparently, and a beatdown.
It's a beatdown. Well, you went super gangster in the beginning. I can't take a shot.
I can't help that I am what I am, bro.
And it's all that you are? Like Popeye.
Here's what I want to know real quick from you. And just answer this.
All right.
Did you ever know, I guess it is a question, that you're my hero?
Am I the wind beneath your wings?
Bette Midler.
That's dope. Wow. Whatever happened to Bette Midler?
You know, after Hocus Pocus, I lost interest.
Oh, that is true. That's when the main character from the Sex and the City show like made her first movie. She was like in that movie with her.
Really?
Right? Yeah, she was the other
No
witch.
kidding. I had no idea. But here's what I'll say, though. That was an awesome movie, bro. Let's be real. Hocus Pocus was dopeness.
So we're clear, if you haven't seen Hocus Pocus, it's literally about witches killing children. So, you know, whatever.
Sponsored by Hocus Pocus 2.
Hocus Pocus 2. All the kids are dead. Theaters near you. It's a feel-good movie of the year.
Yeah, check it out. Whew. Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to Bette Midler, but I'll tell you this, though. She had it going on at some point in her career. She did, in a lot of different ways. And she just gave it up. I don't know what happened. Did she die? Is she alive?
I believe she's alive. She was doing mostly music, and she was doing stage shows and whatnot. And
she was in Vegas for a little bit.
That's kind of her passion, is music and performing. Yeah.
You know who else is in Vegas that's awesome?
Mel Torme.
Sure. Celine Dion.
Is that right?
That's right. So if you'd rather go see Britney Spears than Celine Dion, guess what? Come to the Uncomfortable Hour, and let me punch you right in the forehead. Let me just do it. Let me just take this fist and punch you right in the forehead for saying that kind of a...
Glenn is a huge fan of Titanic, and so that's where
Huge.
all this aggression comes
Huge.
from. The absolute nonsense soapbox speech that he gave about why she couldn't let him get on that door with her. Like, I don't understand. He was super upset. Jack could have lived too. He was really, really upset.
Well, you know, it was such a cop-out because clearly Jack could have knocked somebody off the boat and lived to see another day. He chose not to because the director chose not to. He should have lived.
I don't
saying.
agree. I think Jack, by passing away in such a ridiculous manner, made him the wind beneath her wings now.
Okay, well, if we want to take it back, we shouldn't. But let's just talk about this. First off, Rose shouldn't have lived because let's be real. There could have been like Titanic 2 / Britannic, because wasn't that another ship that sunk? The Britannic? It was a medical ship. Hey, look it up. If y'all don't know, Google it right now because Google's the truth. I'm just saying. Britannic was a movie, bro.
You said Titanic Part 2.
But in place of Britannic.
Revenge.
And then think about it. Jack could have been on the Britannic as a medical officer of some sort, saving lives. Part 2 could have happened, but no. Rose lived, and what did Rose ever do? No Part 2. I'm getting mad right now. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
He's definitely getting upset.
Visibly making me angry.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll change the subject. We'll talk about let's talk about me. Let's talk about me.
Yeah,
and
that's a real winning subject. Let's
It
do
is
that.
definitely a winning subject. It's definitely a lot more interesting than your obsession with Titanic. He still has it on VHS. It actually came on 2 different tapes, and he watches it every Sunday.
By the way, Disney movies out of the vault, VHS. Who still has them? I know y'all out there do. You know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And guess what? They're worthless. They lied to you. They were like, "Oh yeah, you get all these VHS Disney vault out of the vault. Hold on to them." What are they worth, guys?
For those of you actually following us here on the stream, just let us go ahead and vote. What is your favorite Disney movie? And we'll go ahead and tally it up at the end of my story.
Yeah, I think that's Brisco's way of saying it's his turn.
It's always been my turn, but I'm just a polite gentleman, and I feel sorry for Casey.
Let me pull the Disney story of Eddie Brisco out of the vault right now, ladies and gentlemen. The story of Brisco.
And unlike every other Disney movie, it is not a musical. Because I can't sing unless I'm in the shower, and even then my neighbors complain. So, I'm from Southern California. I grew up in a small town called Los Angeles, or something similar to that. It could rhyme with Los Angeles, which means the Angels, which is like an opposite nickname. And so I grew up out there. My mother was a super Christian Protestant. My father was Catholic. Growing up out there, I saw little things. I saw a whole bunch of stuff happen in front of me, and it, kind of molded me into the person I am today. I feel like I kind of become super awesome, and that's pretty much it.
By molded, are you referring to Gumby?
Hey, fellas.
Somewhat like Gumby, yeah, and you'd be my Pokey. You'd be the Pokey to my
All right.
Gumby.
I hear you. He's very flexible, very flexible.
Where am I?
Wow. Okay, so back to this whole thing. So I grew up out there. I definitely saw some things. I did some stuff. I definitely was not the best person throughout my life. Definitely going to use the word definitely at least another 20 times in this story. But I moved out to Texas in 2000 and something, and I've been out here for the entire time. Believe it or not, I do love Texas. I love it out here. Not a huge fan of the hatred for In and Out, but I feel overall it's been great. But being serious, I grew up really not knowing God too much. I've always associated God, Jesus, and everything else with all the holidays, because that's really the only time you ever really hear about them. So when Jesus' birthday happens, I get toys. And Jesus died and came alive, and then I get eggs full of candy and or money, mostly candy. And at the same time, you know what? Those eggs get hidden, and sometimes you don't find them. And if they're actually real hard-boiled eggs, which they were, they would be in the strawberry-shaped cookie jar on the counter, destroying the scent of the house for like a month until we finally found it, because there was no cookies in the cookie jar because we weren't allowed to have cookies. But yeah,
You did them inside? You didn't do it outside?
Yeah, well, see, the thing is that there's a lot of pesky bullets out there in Los Angeles. But we did our thing. It was inside, outside, or whatever. I'm just exaggerating. But the whole thing is that when I finally learned that Santa wasn't a thing, when I finally realized that the Easter Bunny was fake, I kind of wrapped it all up into that whole thing. Where it's like, well, Jesus must be fake too. Because, yeah, there's churches and, yeah, there's all this stuff, but there's malls, and that's basically Santa's church. So that's where you go and worship Santa, because on Jesus' birthday, I did not go and sit on Jesus' lap. I went and took a picture with Santa, and it was just kind of a bigger thing for me. And even though I was told all these fantastic stories, those stories were just as fantastic as the North Pole and the elves and the toys and delivering toys to every boy and girl and a lump of coal to every boy and girl that was bad in one single evening. It's just as far-fetched, if you want to say it is, as Noah's Ark. It's one of those things. So it was just all really kind of paralleled for me, and I really just kind of lost touch with faith, and I didn't really want to believe it. So I didn't really kind of have any type of idea. I knew, but I didn't know. I felt like this was a thing, but it wasn't a thing. So it wasn't really until I got out here. I met a good friend of mine through work out there in Los Angeles. We'll just call him, for the sake of the podcast, we'll call him Mike. We'll say his name is Mike.
But his name is really maybe Jesus.
His name is probably Jesus. It could actually be Juan,
Juan. Okay.
It could,
I think for the story purpose, Juan is better.
Yeah, we'll call him Juan. So I was doing a lot. I had broken up with my longtime girlfriend. I was able to luckily actually get a stepdaughter out of the relationship, which was super dope because she's still in my life. But he hit me up because he saw that I was just doing no good. I was working out in Pasadena, California. My friend would pick me up because I didn't have a car, and we'd go down the I think it's called the 2, which is the Antelope Valley Highway that takes you to Pasadena. It's a super curvy mountain road, and we used to, stop at the liquor store and grab something to drink on the way up there and just take this ridiculously precarious ride, under the influence. And he hit me up one day and said, look, I see you're not doing it good. You're just, kind of having this type of life. I know it's kind of hard for you. He, too, went through some serious nonsense, and he said, if you're ready to just kind of give all that up and live the Christian lifestyle, man, you want to move in with me, dude? He's like, I got a big place. He's like, maybe it can, maybe it can turn into something dope, because me and him always had a connection. Not going to lie, the connection started with guns. We were talking about guns one day after work while we're waiting for our prospective girlfriends to pick us up. So, anywho, he really gave it to me, like in regards to the real story and how things go down, because he was, tatted up. He was an angry little dude, but it's like scrappy dude. Like, let me at him, like every minute, he's just like, it's this ball of angry, but he was super down for God, and I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand why he was just so down for God, like how he just had this out of control, like, love and belief. And it just was something that I really actually just kind of envied. I just really wanted to feel that way. Like, I wanted to feel that type of assurance. I just didn't understand it, so, I was doing bad. I was really a bad person. It was just, as much as I portrayed this dope guy to my parents, and I would, come home and, I had relatively good grades, and, I applied to college. I was supposed to go to college and I didn't go, which really made my father angry. And, I was kind of lost, but I was just kind of living the life that I wanted to live, which was basically just, trying to get as much money as possible. Never dealt any drugs or anything crazy like that. I just was just trying to just live like as everybody else around me was. And so I felt like at that point, if there was a God, then I for sure was not ever going to meet this dude. Like, I was going to hell. And I figured at that point, if I was going to go to hell, might as well get a dope condo out of it. Like, I might as well go to hell and get a really nice beachfront, like the Lava Lake kind of house. So I was going to do the most, I was just going to live whatever life I could live and just be happy. And because I thought I was lost. I didn't think there was a chance for me. So one night we were outside and we were just hanging out, and we were smoking on clove cigarettes. And because, that's what you do when you're stupid. And neither one of us really did.
Those are terrible for you, by the way.
Yeah, we didn't like beer, and we couldn't afford whiskey, so we were drinking Smirnoff Triple Blacks.
Were they Bali Ha clove cigarettes?
I'm pretty sure the red box, the red and white box.
No, this one was like the tropical.
No, these were the Jarms, the DJ Arms, the Jarms, whatever.
Which are equally bad for you.
Yeah, they're just cruddy cigarettes. But that's what I used to smoke because I was trying to trick myself into believing that they were better than cigarettes. So. We're out there and we're just having this conversation, and just kind of opened up to him one day and just said, I just don't feel like there's any hope for me. I don't feel like there's any coming back. I don't feel like there's really a need for me to try to be a better person in regards to that. I mean, I was always the guy who would help people out and do all that stuff. That's always been in my nature. But as far as being like a good moral person and just not getting things the easy way, it was just kind of a second nature to me. And I always did that. And he'd say, as bad as you are, as many people as you've hurt, as many things that you've done, he's like, you're never going to be as bad as this dude Saul. And I was like, Saul? I was like, Saul, I don't understand. This was before Breaking Bad, so if you're trying to associate that, this is way before that, because I'm old as old can be. So he broke it down and said, it's this dude Saul, man. He used to kill Christians because they were Christian. He used to go out there and slaughter Christians. Men, women, and children. Like, I mean, he was a killer. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men, women, and children he would just slaughter because they were Christian. Christians would just fall at his sword. And I was like, wow, that's super. Thank you for comparing me to this ultra sociopathic killer. And he says, no, he goes, this is the thing, though. He says, Jesus found this dude. He knew that he was going to be a great man. He put him on. He forgave him for all these things. Changed his name. He's like, you know what his name is? I was like, nah, what's his name? He's like, Paul the Apostle, bro. I'm like, dude, I know that name because, like the Beatles. But at the same time, because of the Bible and whatnot, and because of what I learned in church and whatnot, because I used to go to church quite a bit, even though because I just wanted to feel what everybody's feeling. I wanted to find that, and I never did. But he said, dude, he goes, if that dude with all these things, all these atrocities, all these terrible things he did, can get in God's favor and just be this righteous man. I mean, till the end with God, till the end with Jesus, man. I mean, if you look, Paul was a super rider for God. He was a gangster. I mean, he was 100% for Jesus. He's like, if he can do that, he's like, then why can't you?
Certainly you with your clove smoking,
my super gangster cigarettes,
drinking and driving.
Control. Man, it was rough. It was a rough time. I mean, we were just doing the most.
Somebody pass me the clove.
Give me a clove, man. Man, that's how we do it. So,
yeah.
And so so it was that's when I really kind of realized, man, that there was hope, man, because I never had any hope, man. I always thought that I just kind of, I lost my ticket. I lost my ride to heaven, whatever that was, because I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know anything, however it works. I didn't know anything, but I knew that for whatever reason I was condemned. And he's kind of put that to me, and I just really kind of got hope, man. And I felt hope for the first time in a long time. I mean, and it's not that Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne hope, I'm talking about like real hope, like hope for salvation, hope for like a real actual life, a good life, and to live righteously, because I always thought that I can outrun all of my bad deeds by doing a bunch of good deeds. And as soon as I tip that scale, then God will be like, yo, guess what? I found your ticket, bro. But that's actually really not quite how it works. But that's what I thought. And so I was just lost. And so, I moved to Texas. He moved to Texas. He left me out there in L.A., super pissed. And just like, I don't understand. But he met a woman online. She's a good Christian woman. And
Tinder.
They met on, this is before Tinder. This was called a chat room. And
through Yahoo.
Through AOL. You've got mail. So he had, anyways, he met her and he came home one day and he said, he's like, I'm going to move to Texas. I said, okay, and then he's like, when are you going to move to Texas? And he's like, well, right now. And so we loaded up all of his stuff. And then at 11 o'clock at night, he took off. And that was basically it. I mean, there was a lot of prep prior to that in regards to the idea of him taking off, but because I just didn't understand why he'd leave. But he met her, and now they're together. They're married now. They've got themselves a wonderful son, my nephew, little Ezra, and he's doing the most. And so when I came out, he just really kind of helped me out. He just put God in front of me at all times, when it was just, even when I wanted to look away, even when I was having a lot of fun out there in Austin, because Austin's a dope city, especially if you're a single guy. Super fantastic place to live if you're single, but not if you're trying to be doing the right thing, in regards to what I was doing. And it was just, he just really just kind of always tried to keep me on. And it was one of those things where I'm super grateful, but God was working through him. And so, I just kind of, I dedicated my life to God, and, I still roll around with my Jesus shirt, and sometimes I get compliments and sometimes I get, scowls, but, that's what I'm doing. I roll now, dude. I roll with the Lord, and I try to keep it as 100 as possible. But it's difficult, and that's what this really is about. It's uncomfortable for me to talk about my past. It's uncomfortable for me to tell you everything I just told you. But the thing is about the uncomfortable hours is this is one of those things where it's going to be that outlet. We can actually bring people in that are having the same struggles, people that are having different struggles. People that are doubting and doing their thing, and that kind of want to know, people that fell from grace, people that grew up in a pastor's home that are no longer in touch with God. Those are the things. These are subjects that we talk about, but you don't really hear about, because you only hear about the Westboro Baptist Church, and you hear Holy Rollers and
what'd you do last weekend.
Exactly, all that stuff. 7 days without the Lord makes 1 week.
I went to church last weekend, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, I'm not about punching the clock, man. I'm just trying about being righteous, living righteously, as much righteously as possible, and just doing the right thing under God. So that's what this show brings, and it's just kind of really just taking you on that journey with us, man. And at the same time, giving the people that have that voice, that real voice, a platform to spring off of.
That good. Yeah, no, it's important to note that You know, me and Brisco couldn't be more opposite if you haven't figured it out yet. So, you know, and I appreciate that testimony. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about that background.
Glenn's not good looking.
Let's be real. I grew up in a kind of upper class. I mean, you could say we're middle class, but kind of upper to that. And I had a very good environment. My dad was he was a deacon, still is a deacon to this day. Very religious. My mother, same thing. She's very religious. And my dad's dad was a pastor, and so I grew up in the church of Southern Baptist Church. So for all you Baptist goers out there, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it is by the book. And, you know, for me, honestly, I just never felt anything. I never felt what everyone else was feeling. Everyone else had their hands up. They were swinging about to those old hymns. I didn't like the old hymns. I was the outcast in the church that listened to hip-hop. How dare you mention hip-hop in this church?
He was the hip-hop version of Footloose.
You know, I was something like that. I was definitely, you know, I mean, I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, so it was an older crowd. I didn't have a really a ton of youth that I was surrounded by. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I never felt the same things that everybody else was feeling. And so therefore, I ultimately denounced God. I ended up not believing in God. I ended up growing up and turning my back and, you know, anyways, living my life like so many millions of people do the wrong way. And that's unfortunate, because, you know, now at this point in my faith, you know, at this point in my walk, I can see for so long I've been doing things the wrong way. And man, you know, God has still blessed me. He's still stuck by me. You know, he still is blessing me to this day. And, you know, it wasn't until probably 4 months ago that everything kind of snapped like a light bulb. You know, you have that moment and you begin to realize it's all relevant.
Do light bulbs snap?
It all
Google
makes
that.
sense. If you could just not touch the microphone when you move it, that would be great, because your thumb is just, it's in my ear, and it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. No, don't like it. Light bulbs do snap when they get upset. They bust, okay? And then you don't have a light bulb. You ever thought about that? Anyway, but yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I never believed in God. I never saw it in the same light as everyone else did. So anyways, my upbringing was totally opposite from Briscoe's, and I guess the reason why I think that's relevant is because here we are today sitting across from each other, sharing our stories. We couldn't be more opposite, but yet I call this guy one of my best friends. And that's the power of God. That's what God can do. He helped him, my soon-to-be wife, helped introduce me back into the life of Christ, you know, by talking about God. And you know, Becca, you know, wanted us to go to church for a very long time, and so we started going to church. And so then I started saying, hey, Brisco, check this out, man, going to church, kind of these crazy things are happening. I feel like, you know, like definitely there's a God, bro. And then as soon as we had that conversation, things kind of started to change. We started talking about God. And so what was uncomfortable at one point was no longer uncomfortable anymore. And it's because we kind of broke that ice. And I wish so many other millions of people would do that, because that's really, you know, people are alone at times in life. People, you know, you just don't know. You don't know where someone's at. We're at different stages at different times. And sometimes all you need is that ear and that other person. You just never know. You know, they could be experiencing something similar, something different, but still they could be on that same level and say, man, I'm experiencing that too, or I experienced that too. And now two completely, you know, opposites are suddenly talking about God. And so there again, the unity through God, right? And now everything is coming together. And so that's a testament to God and who he is and what he's about. That's the power of God, is that he can take two completely different people that would never have normally probably been friends or never normally had hung out with each other in the past, whatever it may be. He could take both of those people and bring them together.
Casey didn't
Come
he
together.
He didn't like me at all when we first met
Right
me.
now. I don't even know why I would say that.
He hated me when we first met.
That's weird. Oh, wow. You know what? I think the truth is that Briscoe's Mexican and I'm white, and I got a better tan than him. I think that's what this is all about. I'm just saying.
That could be it, or it could be the truth, which is you just didn't like me.
It's true. I didn't like him. I judged him. I didn't like him. I honestly thought, was that a cell phone that I just heard?
Not on my end.
Did you just rip it then? Because something happened on your end.
I'm pretty sure it was neither one of those things.
You know what, bro? We're not going to have this conversation on the air. We're not. So, conversation closed.
Thank you for that.
But yeah, no, I didn't like Brisco. I thought he was like this arrogant, you know. Let me tell you how we met. I was working at the company first, and then this guy followed me because, you know, I was awesome.
That's what happened, huh? Oh, okay.
No, I was working at this company, and in comes Brisco maybe a month or two later, and you know, just me being me and the way that my mind works. I saw him as a threat for some reason. I'm like, oh, this class clown's coming in here trying to steal the spotlight. Well, let me show him. Shut it, bro. But of course I didn't say that because he's much bigger than me, so I said it in my mind. And in my mind, I was verbally assaulting him left and right. Just like every time he would talk, I'd be like, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really funny. Everybody laugh. And of course, everyone did laugh. You know, everyone was laughing. But not me. I maybe like played a little smirk to make it look like I liked him. Like, oh, yeah, good one, bro. But really, deep down inside, I was like, dude, this dude, look at him over there with that smug look on his face. Looking like peace. Let me get him. But anyways, I apologized.
Never have I looked smug.
Yeah, you know, that's a matter of opinion. But yeah, I mean, I feel like he was trying to come into my territory for some reason. I don't know why. Like I own these people or something. What am I talking about?
So he immediately went out and urinated on every cubicle out there.
I did. I said, you know what? If I have to lose my job over this, Brisco, I'm willing to do that. And that's what happened. That's why I don't have a job anymore.
It was so strange. Like at
weird.
every desk, he just walked by and just like tinkled on.
Took a whiz. I prefer whiz. I don't like tinkle.
Well, I mean, when you do it,
he's trying to make me look soft.
It's pretty much a tinkle. I mean, let's just be real. So he's out there just tinkling on every desk, and they came out like, "Dude, what are you doing?" He's like, "This is for Brisco," and it was just really strange. And so after the security had escorted him out, it was a lot. It smelled really, really bad because he eats quite a bit of asparagus. But overall, right now it does smell like vanilla and cherry, which are like my two favorite scents that I get at the car wash. So we're working through it. As a company, we're gonna move forward.
It's hard. It's hard when you lose somebody that has character like myself. It's hard when you lose somebody of this stature, this caliber, if you want to say, and then you're left with Brisco. You know, it's like, check this out. This is how I equate it. It's like Will Smith, right? And then you got Martin Lawrence. Brisco's Martin Lawrence. And so the problem is Martin Lawrence can't really do a movie on his own that's worth anything unless Will Smith's there. And so that's Glenn Casey, right? That's me. And so that's what happened. I left the company and they're like, oh, great. Now we got Big Mama's house. You know what I'm saying? They had Bad Boys and then they were left with Big Mama's house.
Hold on. I'm sending you.
So.
How do you spell grandeur? Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm sending you the definition.
Okay. I think that's a company that is like farming equipment or something.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're right.
All right. But anyways, yeah, he's absolutely right. You know, I was way too judgmental. I've learned a lot about myself in the past year. So if we're in the spirit of being honest, it wasn't until this year that I really got close with God and found my walk. And so, you know, a lot of people had a lot of hands in helping me do that, and I'll forever be grateful for that. But, you know, me and Brisco got a great relationship. If you haven't noticed by now, you better. You know, notice how I said better? Kind of sounds like butter, but better.
Mo Better Butter.
Sponsored by Mo Better Butter. But anyways, so that's a little bit about what happened. Plus, you know, I left the company. I wanted to pursue this podcast. I really wanted to get it up and going and kind of focus my energy, my time, my thoughts on this. And then, of course, what happens? Here comes Brisco, the tag-along, the guy that I never liked. Here he comes. Oh, Casey, before you leave, hey, bro, I just wanted to say, like, I heard you were doing a podcast and just really wanted to be a part of it and, you know, like ride my coattails.
That's what happened?
That's what he does. Oh, that's what Brisco does, bro. So,
yeah, that's what I do.
That's what he, no, I mean, yeah, no, wow. you know, the truth about it is, you know, it is true. I didn't like him in the beginning, and then I ended up coming clean with him, and I ended up telling him, "Hey, man, you know, I'm sorry I judged you." And anyways, he's turned out to be one of the coolest cats I know. And so here we are doing a podcast together. Okay. All right, so just real quick, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in right now. We got Jay Sanon on the podcast with us on the phone. What's up, my man Jay?
What's going on, guys?
Not much, man. It's good to have you, man. So glad to have you here right now.
It's an honor to be here, man. I'm grateful for the opportunity, man. Let's chop it up.
But I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on the show. That really means a lot. I appreciate somebody with your level of talent to do that. So thank you very much.
Ah, man, it's an honor, man. Thank you for even letting me get on the show, man.
Man, we've got so much to get into and to talk about, bro.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know that I'm already a fan, man. I've been listening to a lot of your music.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, just a lot of straight fire coming out from you. And the fact that you're this producer, songwriter, rapper, kind of one, jack of all trades.
Absolutely.
So let me know, man. Let me know though, like, in terms of you're from Miami-Dade, right?
Yep, Dade County.
Dade County, man. Kimbo Slice, Dada 5000.
Nah, me, Rick Ross, Khaled.
Man, keep it coming. Yeah, a lot of talent.
305 right there, doing the most.
305.
Yeah.
Well, this is a Christian podcast, but in the spirit of 305s, I think that is like a broke cigarette, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just being honest.
I wouldn't know nothing about that, brother.
It is, though. I think it's like the lowest of lowest cigarettes you can get. But anyways, this show's not about that. Thank you for coming on the Uncomfortable Hour, man.
Appreciate it.
As I said, Jay, man, 557, bro. What a banger. I gotta
appreciate that, man.
What, so just let me know, man. You're in the, we'll call it the CHH community, and I'll say this, for Christian hip hop, I've been a long time fan of Christian hip hop, and I think you could agree now, that it's evolving, it's changing.
Definitely.
When I was growing up, some of the cats I was listening to were like Tunnel Rats and KJ52 and Soup the Chemist.
That's old school.
Old school.
You OG.
Yeah, man, old school Christian hip hop for sure. But I see now, man, there's this platform and there's just this exploding talent. You're a part of it that is now coming onto the scene that's got like kind of this new age sound to it. And so I just kind of wanted to ask you, man, what made you get into the CHH to begin with?
Well, I got saved like around 10 years ago, like in 2007. And right around that time, when you first become a Christian, you're trying to stop listening to secular music and stuff. You throw out all your CDs and stuff like that. And so I threw out my Wayne CD, my Joel Santana CD that I was bumping. You know what I mean? And you get to that point where all you're bumping is Kurt Franklin and Commission and stuff like that, right? And that's cool for a certain point, but for me, man, like, I grew up on hip hop, man. I grew up watching Rap City, you know what I mean, reading the Double XL mags and stuff like that, man. So it was kind of like a void, you know what I mean? So one day I ride with my homegirl, and she's bumping this CD, like, it was by The Truth, called Open Book or whatnot. And that was kind of like my intro, man. It was like, yo, like, this is rap, and it's good, and it's Christian, and there's no cursing. And bro, ever since that day, man, I've just been immersed in the CHH world, man. I was there for the CMR reign, you know what I mean, the early reach stuff, all the way up till now. Records. So man, I just been a lover of hip hop, and listened to it so much, and I already had the ability to rap, so it was just inevitable, you know what I mean? Lord just said, hey man, I want to use your gifts to give me glory, so that's what I'm doing now.
Right on, absolutely.
Yeah, man, Cross Movement Records, that was a big one. They were kind of at the forefront for a long time. Huge, man. I mean, I know for sure, the Ambassador was one of my favorites growing up.
Yup.
Still is, to be honest with you, but some of them are still making bangers so.
Shout out to Deuce.
Wow, man. So that's crazy, man. So you really got into it the same way I did, because honestly, when I was listening to these guys, and I still listen to Christian hip hop, I'm just expanding my, my ears, but I was listening to this music because they were telling an actual story. They weren't just out here saying the same kind of stuff or putting a persona on. They were actually telling a story without, like you said, without cursing and things like that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, man, because I got to know, in this 557, right. I noticed that you've got, trying to make the bread leaven. Wow, that's an acting agent that makes bread rise. Is that I gotta know, is that kind of like a testament to making your spirit rise, your soul rise? What's the meaning behind that?
I mean, well, the whole thing about 557, man, like the Lord literally gave me this song, bro. And it's kind of funny, man. I get all my dopest ideas at work for some strange, odd reason, bro. So I'm literally at work doing what I do, and the hook literally just comes in, like, 557 on the narrow path to heaven. I didn't have any lyrics. I didn't have any beat or nothing. Like, it just gave me, like, Lord just gave me the hook right there. So I'm like, okay, this is dope, but I don't have a beat to it. And, mess around on Twitter one day, connected with this producer, Dream 86, and he had a perfect beat. So I'm like, that's the beat. And, just started to develop the lyrics. And really trying to make the bread leaven is, I'm trying to go out there and, just provide money for the family. You know what I mean? That's what the whole song is about. The premise of the song is like, man, like, using our God-given abilities and just making use of them. You know what I mean? I meet so many people where it's like, this girl, she can sing. Like, we all know that one girl in church who can sing, but she's too shy to join the choir. You know what I mean? And it's just about using your God-given gifts and being out there. So when I say, trying to make the bread leaven, it's like, yeah, bro, I'm trying to get in this job that I really don't like, but hey, man, I'm trying to increase the wealth, not for selfish reasons, not so I could just flex on Instagram, but so I can provide for my family, you know what I mean, and better provide for the vision that God has given me, you know what I mean. So basically, that's what it was about.
Yeah, just trying to leave a legacy, not trying to get a million. That's like one of my favorite lines from that song.
Oh yeah,
that's what I love. I really dig your flow, man. I really love how you just kind of get through. And Glenn was like, man, you got to listen to this guy. Man, this guy's amazing. And just to give you a little bit of idea in regards to me and what I do listen to hip hop, and I grew up on hip hop. Like my absolute first CD when they used to come back in the day in those really long cardboard boxes was NWA and the Posse. I was always like just immersed in hip hop from the beginning. I mean everything, and it was always hard for me to find a good substitute in the Christian world. And a lot of my friends at the time were listening to like DC Talk. Everybody was just really big on that because it was the first mainstream thing you could get on a cassette. And man, it's just the stuff that you're putting out, man, it's just blown away. It's just right up there with everybody else. Every good artist out there, I feel like you shine like them. I feel like you really just got this flow that's just this way of storytelling. My favorite song, because I feel like I kind of went through it, it's just your latest one, is going to be Infatuation. I really love this song. I mean, it's like, dude, this guy knows my heart. Like, he like literally wrote this song about me. Like
completely different flow too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just a completely different flow. And so in regards to Kay, in regards to this woman Kay, I mean, how long ago did this happen to you?
Everybody wants to know about this K, man. Bro, that's the number one thing. It's like, yo, who's that girl from Connecticut? Who's K? Man, so to make this is a podcast, right? So I can go a little long. Man, so basically, I was caught up in like this soul tie, man, where like I was backsliding from the Lord, you know what I mean? Completely not in my word, completely not where I needed to be, you know what I mean? And, this woman who I used to work with, just talking to her, and, she had a boyfriend at the time, and, I still pursued her, which I shouldn't have. And, we just got into this like a year and a half just cycle of like sin, man, that was just completely like dysfunctional, you know what I mean? So even after we broken up, man, it was still a lot of that residue that, you know what I mean, that the Lord just had to just get out of my heart, man. So, you know what I mean, by the grace of God, I was freed from that soul tie, and that verse was just basically, you know what I mean, my emancipation statement, you know what I mean, and just, laying my heart before the people, you know what I mean, because, ever since that song dropped, man, I meet so many people that have went through the same situation, man. It's like, it's so funny, man, when you put yourself out there, you know what I mean, and you just give God like your gift, man, and he just shows you like like look what happened when you put your pride to the side and you just allow me to use you, man. So I'm grateful that's blessed you, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, a couple of lines out there. I'm a living, breathing carcass. Like, just man,
Dope lyrics.
Just seriously, like, it was just one of those things. Right. And of course, and something I was telling Glenn about this a while ago. We were talking about it. He's like, dude, he's talking about a soul full of scars. Like, I can relate to that on so many levels. Not about my version of Kay, who she was, but I mean, just on a lot of levels, my soul's full of scars. I mean, that just resonates with me, man. I just really, really love what you did there. I mean, everything you said is just, man, I was like, dude, like, man, this, I don't know, it was like my version of that country song, you know what I'm saying? It was just amazing to me, But if I could just ask, I mean, in regards to that, because like you said, you struggle to throw out all your CDs, you kind of want to just get rid of all that world music, everything secular, and I still deal with that too. I really love hip hop, man. I love my old school hip hop, things I grew up in, right. Things I really want to listen to, but I fear to roll around in because, it just kind of puts me in that mood. It gives me that little edge, it just puts a little bit more swivel in my neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things. And do you on your own, do you still listen to like secular hip hop? Do you still listen to, just, day-to-day hip hop at all? Or do you listen to any type of world music?
Well, I was actually having a conversation. It's actually with another podcast. Basically, man, when it comes to the whole hip hop thing, man, we know what the word says. All things are lawful, but not all things are beneficial, right? So we have the liberty to listen to it, but if we find that when we listen to these things, our relationship and our development is not like at a good place with God, then we should get away from it. With me, as a hip hop artist, you have to know what's going on. Like, in order to like speak to the culture, I gotta be a part of the culture. But, you just gotta use wisdom, man, and just know the stuff that affects you. If you feel that, this stuff has a negative effect on you, if you listen to that Rihanna album too long and you start fantasizing about, your ex-girl or whatever, that, you should cut it off, man. But for me, man, I do listen to it, but I try not to indulge in it too much. But, just still trying to find that balance myself, because, you want to listen to the old stuff that you listen to. And, sometimes it's like, it's dope. But, then you start thinking about, all the stuff that you used to do when that song was around.
Right, yeah.
You used to do it with, and you're like, let me pop this Cray CD in.
Yeah, like it goes from like I'm being nostalgic to I'm trying to get back in that mode. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. I still listen to world music. I still listen to a few select artists that I dig the most, and I'm from the West Coast, so there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't really hit the radio. Yeah, I mean,
and not everything that's not Christian is bad. You know what I mean? Because like there's some like quote unquote secular songs that I listen to it. It's like, man, there's like some biblical truth to this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like it's nothing sexual. It's nothing that that's like just vain or just something like terribly sinful. But like, yo, this is just good quality, positive hip hop. You know what I mean? So there are some stuff that's like healthy alternatives.
Let me ask you this though, Jay. So I noticed a lot of your songs, you're up and coming, 2017, a lot of these new songs. So have you been long time producing before you've been rapping? Explain what the deal is on that.
Yeah, man. I was rapping since I was 12. The producer thing, low key kind of fell on my lap. And, I just discovered this program called Pro Tools back when I was in high school or whatnot, and just started producing. And around, I would say, 2014 to 2016, really started taking it seriously. Made some decent money, but the thing is that, I would produce and I would like send it to like my rapper friends, and literally none of them would get on my beats. Like, not even one. Like, My homie, like,
Why is
street
that?
hymns. my man street hymns, like, he's from Texas. I forget which part, but I sent him like folders and folders of beats, bro, and he would get on absolutely none. And the feedback I would get is like, bro, like your beats are cool, but they're not for me. You know what I mean? So I kind of gave up on it, and come to find out, God was like literally just using that to get me into rapping. You know what I mean? Because if they were to get all the beats and I would be a successful producer, I wouldn't even think about rap. And we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So, God had other plans.
Wow, so it's almost like they didn't have the ear that you had for your own beats to transform them. Wow, that's something. And so what about, I know that, you're on the audio video team with your church, right? Emmanuel Baptist Church. Is that still the case?
Oh, yeah. 10 years strong. So,
let me ask you this. Has that played a part in your career and recording, or, how has that helped you?
It's helped me out. You know what I mean? I know like the basic level stuff of mixing and stuff. Like, Infatuation, that was like my first time like actually mixing my record, and feedback I got from like, yo, this is actually good. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, cool. So it's helped me out like as far as the mixing level and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely assisted.
Nice.
Great. So in regards to hip hop, either in the CHH or Christian community, or in the secular world, anything on the radio or anything not on the radio, what can you say is I don't want to say your new favorite or anything like that, but what do you have in the rotation the most, other than of course your own catalog? Holla.
You talking about as far as mainstream?
Yeah, mainstream or Christian,
whatever. Or even CHH.
What do you have in the rotation the most right now?
Well, I do both. It's funny, all the people in CHH, I don't even think they consider themselves CHH. But that's another podcast. As far as the CHH, man, I'm a huge Caleb Mitchell fan, man. I don't know if you guys heard of him.
Definitely.
Yeah, man, that whole Benchwarmer squad, I'm a huge fan of them. Let me see. Aaron Cole is dope.
Shy One is another one.
Yeah, Shy One.
He's awesome too.
Aha Gazelle's fire. My man Rio 24K.
Oh man, I just heard him, man. Recently.
Yeah, that's the homie too.
Really, man, he dropped some fire the other day on what is it? I think Mr. Galaxy, I think is what it is. But man, he dropped some fire.
Yeah, bro, he got a new album out in the meantime. That's on iTunes, Spotify, all that.
What'd you think about SO?
Bro, that is literally my favorite rapper, bro.
Right? He's amazing.
That is my favorite rap. It's funny that you mentioned SO. I actually hit him on the text and shared him the Infatuation song. And he was taking a while because, he's busy, he's touring and stuff like that. I'm like, he ain't gonna listen to the song. He hit me back out the blue and he's like, man, dopeness. And I literally like went crazy.
Yeah.
I literally lost my mind. I'm like, yo, my favorite rapper told me I'm dope. You can't tell me nothing.
Land Mode Records, man. Wow. I think he's based out of Chicago, right?
No, he's from London. South
London, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, UK.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So, as far as the mainstream, Jay-Z's my favorite rapper of all time. Nas, this dude named Nick Grant is dope. There's too many to mention, man. J. Cole's another favorite. Kendrick.
I mean, would you say you've been influenced by all these guys in some way or another?
Oh yeah, everybody on my top 5 is people who I studied. So, so Jay-Z, definitely. I definitely hit a J in my music. Nas, Drake, one of my favorite rappers. Cole, Kendrick, Lauryn Hill, Big L. You know what I mean? It go Biggie, Pac. We could be here all day.
Oh yeah.
But those are the same. Brandy, used to go left field, but yeah, those are some of my influences, definitely.
Brandy, oh yeah. I used to have a thing for Brandy and Monica. The thing is that I was listening to because I love Nas. When I grew up in West Coast and when everything went down, I really very closed-minded view of hip hop. I never really listened to East Coast too much. I mean, the first.
Oh, you was in that whole East Coast West Coast beat?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I was in it, but I mean, I would say I was there. No, but I mean, it's just one of those things where I just didn't like a lot of the East Coast hip hop to me was just like it was too fast, too busy. It wasn't something I could ride to. It was really everything was about rolling slow. And there was just a lot of like y'all, just like it was too much. Yeah, and I really like him, but I mean, Nas as far as lyricism, I love Nas, man. Nas for me is just one of those things. I mean, he's like my man Jay say, he's like one of those things where he can roll on either side of that spectrum. He could be positive. He's talking about education stuff. He's doing that, and I really love Nas. But I was telling Glenn on the I don't know, about a couple hours ago. I was like, I really feel, and I hope this doesn't sound too much like pandering, but I mean, like I was like, dude, I really like hear Jay-Z, like a Jay-Z flow coming out of this song right now. And when I was listening to it was 557, I was listening to Infatuation. I was like, bro, like dude, I really hear Jay-Z, man, like a Jay-Z flow. And he was like, yeah, man, he said we need to ask him about that, about his influences. And I kind of feel like super smart.
But bro, you know what's so crazy, man? Because obviously Jay came out with 444, right?
Right.
So before I heard that album, I'm like, yeah, he's sort of an influence. When I heard that album, I'm like, yo, I would have said that. I'm like every single bar. I'm like the Al Sharpton in the mirror taking selfies. I would have said that. Yeah. So it's like, man, like yo, like he's a huge influence, man. And it took me listening to that album. I'm like, yo, like, yeah, he's definitely like one of those ones for me.
Man, even with like early pioneers, like I said, some of your voice inflection in your songs reminds me of Soup the Chemist. I said it earlier, Soup's he's one of my favorites. But if anyone who's ever listened to Soup knows that he's got that voice inflection where he'll flip that flow up, right in the middle of it, and it's just it's very unique. It's very unique sound. So that's definitely a compliment to you, my man.
Definitely, man. It's an honor, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know that at least, some of my favorites today, man. I mean, you got Thizzle out there. He's doing his thing. You got, Humble Beast Records now is doing a lot. I love Beautiful Eulogy. What a different sound they've got.
Amazing.
So they've got, I see the CHH community today, though. I see it, Jay, and it's just massive. And like you said, a lot of people, one of my all-time favorites, Plato, which I think now he goes by Crumb. But, he was involved with Ill Harmonics, all this. But he said it, I'm not trying to be labeled as anything. I'm just trying to put out music from my heart. And so a lot of CHH, as you said, they're not even trying to be labeled necessarily as CHH. They're just trying to put out quality music.
Right.
But one of the things that I've seen in the transition, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't, from the early pioneers, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like Gospel Gangsters, you had some early forefront where the church didn't even want to hear this type of music in the church. Mm-hmm. They weren't even trying to play it. And now you look at it and you see how many different artists are in the the CHH community, and it's just exploding, man.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
It's with talent such as yourself, and a lot of them are now independent. And so, where do you see yourself, man? What's going on? I mean, you're gonna start touring? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, what's next for you?
Man, I'm still in like low key like the embryo stage of my career. You know what I mean? Like, right. I only got a couple records out. You know what I mean? Definitely plan to put out more records. Infatuation video. We're starting on getting a treatment to that. And yeah, man. So eventually, touring, more videos. You guys can expect more content. You know what I mean? Hopefully start blogging, you know what I mean? Merch and stuff like that. So, as I progress, you know what I mean? You'll definitely see my face out there, you know what I mean? But the music is still definitely coming.
Good, man. I mean, I'm so happy to hear it, man. This is the type of music right now that the world needs right now. And you know, I always say it, man, and I'd be a broken record on this. You know, this is the devil's world. This is not God's world. You know, this is the type of music right now, the quality of music, the level of skill that you have that's put out there, that today's youth will be like, oh, you know, I could write it. This is nice. This is ill. This guy's flow is on point. And it's like something that, you know, and it's not necessarily because there wasn't talent prior to that. There maybe not have been production value. There may not have just been the level of technology that you can get your hands on that makes good music. But this is the type of music right here that can cross over. This is the type of music that can bring someone like, oh, yo, this is, oh, whoa, not one curse word in the entire thing. He's telling a story. This is that level of music, right, man? And I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited to see what you got coming up, and everything else you're gonna produce. Because I mean, I mean, it was one of those things, and I don't say it a lot, man. I promise. I just say I was blown away, like just by what you got going on right now.
It's a blessing, bro. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're a blessing to God's kingdom, man. I mean, you're a true talent. And what I'll say is, you know, I've got 2 little girls, okay? And now I would be lying if I said I didn't listen to secular music, because I still do listen to secular music. But I will say that it's probably like turned to an 80-20, you know, because the wifey poo, she doesn't like listening to that. And she's a fan of Air One, so she's always listening to Air One. My problem with Air One is they don't listen to the same music I listen to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so there's not really a platform. And this is why me and Brisco came up with this. We say, you know what? There's not really a platform other than these independent artists doing these things on their own. There's not a real dedicated platform to trying to put these guys on. And I'm so in agreement with what you were doing and your talent. This is what we want to do. We want to help plug you, help plug God, and put you guys on, because to me, this is where it's at. I could go down the street with my 2 little girls in the back and bump some music that I like bumping, and guess what? I don't have to worry about any type of bad images, words, or anything like that getting into their head, because the music's all about God.
Absolutely. But it's still something that's going to just
dope.
Right. Exactly. Dope. Man, it's just another level of dope, man.
And honestly, that kind of makes us look old, because I don't think a lot of people say dope anymore.
I hope they don't, because
Man,
I really thought that was something I made
No,
up.
bro, I say dope all the time.
Do you know what, Jay? Do you say legit? Because legit is still in, bro. It's still in.
He doesn't.
Yeah, I say legit.
No, you don't. You don't have to lie to make him feel better.
Jay, man, you need to continue to say legit and dope, because that's what's up.
Bro, I say word.
Yeah.
Word. That's like boom bap 1960 Jabot jeans.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jay, because he's bringing the 90s back.
Nah.
Like my biggest word, I say I'll go bet, and people just look at me sideways. They cock their head like a puppy. They heard something weird. Like, bet. I'm like, yeah, they'll bet.
Should I give you like a hand clap and walk
word?
off now?
Exactly, bro.
Nah, me, son. You know me.
Yeah, nah, me, son. I give him a pound. I mean, I shake his hand.
Cypher gall.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, man, I really appreciate you calling in, man. I really appreciate you giving us your time. And if I could just say it, you know, going forward as we grow, we want to grow in the community, not so much as far as popularity, but we really want to just kind of want to put that power out there. And, of course, if there's anything new, anything that you want to bring to the table, and this is just, you know, this is like post-interview. If you want to bring anything to the table, if you say, you know, you got something else dropping, anything else that's coming out, anything you want to announce, whether, I don't care what it is, it's a new YouTube video, it's going to be your infatuation video, anything that comes out, please let us know so we can actually, we definitely want to put it out there. We definitely want to talk about it. Anything you want to come back and talk about, please just let us know. Hit up Glenn, and we'll put you out here, and we'll get you back on so we can just, you know, just spread the word, man. Just get your talent out there, man, because you're so, as we said before, dope.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Like, it's an honor, bro. Like, to hear you guys' kind words, man. It's just reaffirming like so much in me, you know what I mean? And it's just an honor, man. Thank you, man. It's like literally like I did one. This is like my second like interview like ever, bro. So it's like I'm blown away right now, man. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity, man.
Well, one thing you got to know, bro, is the second's the best. So, no, I'm just kidding. But
the second marriage is always the one that works.
Right, I'm just saying, matey. But no, being real with you though, Jay. I mean, you know, do you got any, you know, any upcoming music that you're getting ready to drop here soon? Or are you working on anything currently right now?
Yeah, I'm working on this one song. I do a little snippet on my Instagram, you know what I mean, just to kind of test the waters, see what the people, you know what I mean, really feeling. You know what I mean? The response I'm getting from it is really good. So yeah, I'm working on a couple songs right now, and should be going to the studio in like a week or so. So definitely, man, I'm trying to hit right back. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, man. Just keep it coming, man, because, I mean, I can't hear enough of it.
Appreciate that, man.
So just to make sure that, for everyone that's listening, Jay Sanon on the phone with us, make sure you check him out. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud,
Instagram,
Spotify, Bandcamp, you name it. This guy's on it, on all social media platforms, taking over the world, man. This guy taking over the airwaves.
I don't have a Black Planet, though.
Well, it was nice, man. Can you please just erase this whole?
Oh, you know what? Just delete this in. I can't even believe that we even did this, man. So,
well, hey, man, if we can, wrap this up. I mean, we want to kind of see if we can probably end this in with a little prayer for you. Just kind of get it all together. If that's all right with you.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay, great, man. Well. Once again, I just want to thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for just just being this humble, dope artist. But at the same time, just keep us in mind if anything else comes. Again, I'm gonna say it like a million other times. Please don't forget about us. But let's just move through. In Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Father God, we just want to just pray for Jay right now. Just pray for his career. Just spreading that music out there, putting music out that everybody can listen to, that can really get in touch with these children that are lost. Because, we know nowadays, Lord, that, children don't stand a chance. This is definitely a fight that we're just going through right now. It's just spiritual warfare, and we're just making it happen. Just, bless him, bless his family and everybody else out there in Florida, everybody else that's in the path of this hurricane. Just keep him safe, Lord, and just keep him on that path, that narrow path to heaven that he keeps talking about, Jesus, and just keep that strength in him to just keep moving regardless of any type of obstacles. And, Lord, if you just kind of keep us strong, and, we definitely get lazy. If you can just keep us energized when it comes to just spreading the word of the gospel, Lord. Thank you so much, Lord. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, bro. Appreciate that, man. You guys are gonna be on top of the game, man. I see it, man.
Man, I hope so, man.
Amen to you, brother.
Just don't forget me when you guys, make it big.
Yeah. No, that's
okay. Just remember the little people. Take care of the little people.
Yeah. Ha. Yo. 557 on a narrow path to heaven, trying to make the bread leaven. What you know about that? Gotta go and get it, gotta stay fully committed. Homie, I can never quit it. Holla back if you with it on that 557. 557 in the morning. 557 in the morning. Look, I be on my grind, ain't worried about what's behind. Yesterday I took a L, small thing to a giant. Lay back and recline, ain't the way I was designed. Still running through the digits to infinity and beyond. So I'm out here working, enemy be lurking, but the Lord got me covered like I rock a turban. Feet planted on the mound, trying to dodge a serpent, while I ride through the city with my partner Irvin. And I wake up in the morning like it's the first of the month. Them harmonies inside my bones, but I'm far from a thug. Putting my hands to the plow, every day is a must. That's that alarm clock ringing, boy, it's time to get up. 557 on a narrow path to heaven, trying to make the bread leaven. What you know about that? Gotta go and get it, gotta stay fully committed. Homie, I can never quit it. Holla back if you with it on that 557. 557 in the morning. 557 in the morning. 557 in the morning. 557 in the morning. 557 Now you can look me in my eyes, you can tell what I'm really on. Leaving legacies, not just trying to get a million. Rappers get a check, get a chain to get they chili on. They run their Instagram and flex like they got a million. You living backwards, in the wrong patterns. So bad you got them going face the mirror backwards. You living that facade to the day they pull your card. Cause you was fantasy balling and you forgot the password. Wake up, Mr. Sanon, please get up and start planning. Don't you take this day for granted. I'm the ruler of the planets, every star and every granite. I gave you the gift of art, now go ahead and be a canvas. You could be a dreamer, but don't live up in that mattress. Take the gift of God and go and spread it on the atlas. Live out that resolution way before that ball drop. And don't ever hesitate to set that alarm clock to that 5:57 on a narrow path to heaven. Trying to make the bread leaven, what you know about that? Gotta go and get it, gotta stay fully committed. Homie, I can never quit it. Holla back if you with it on that 5:57. 5:57, 5:57 in the morning. 5:57. 5:57, 5:57 in the morning. 5:57. 5:57, 5:57 in the morning. 5:57. 5:57, 5:57 in the morning.